Welcome to my yoga video. We're going to go through a series of poses. I want you to work on your breath, and I'll be talking through the video, kind of guiding you a little bit on that, trying to call out the different positions in each phase that we do. It should take about 20 minutes, and hope you have fun. So to start with, we're going to reach overhead, breathe in. Then we're going to extend our backs backwards, lifting our chest to the ceiling, and then we're going to breathe out. Come back to the starting position, breathing in, reaching to the right, keeping the arms straight, head should be between the arms, and then breathe in, coming back to the start. We're going to go to the left, breathe out, and breathe in. And we're going to drop our right arm down and breathe out, looking straight ahead, trying to keep your hips forward, then breathe in, drop the left arm down, reaching behind you, breathing out. Breathing in, reaching back up. Now reaching toward the toes, stretching the hamstrings, breathing out. Hands on the shins, looking forward, flattening the low back, stomach pulling in, breathing in. Breathing out, reaching back down toward the ground. Look between your legs, and then breathe in and reach up. Breathing out, extend your chest upward toward the ceiling, leaning back. Good, breathe in, breathe out, reach to the right, breathe in, reach back up to the starting position, breathe out, reach to the left, good, breathe in, reach up, breathe out, drop the right arm down and around, keeping your pelvis pointed forward, then breathe in, arms back up overhead, breathing in, breathing out, reach back, keep the hip, pelvis pointed straight ahead. Good, and breathe in. And then reaching down toward the ground, breathing out. Breathing in. Flattening the back, looking straight ahead, pulling the stomach in, and breathing out, reaching down toward the ground, looking between your legs. Good. Breathing in. Arms sweeping up overhead. Good. Breathing out, back down. Good. Hands on the shins, breathe in. Good. Reaching down to the ground, going into a plank. Good. Breathe in. And breathe out. Lowering down into a half plank and then extending up into a cobra. Try to hold your knees and your pelvis off of the ground and don't let your shoulders go up into your ears. Now breathe out and go into a down dog. I want you to hold this position for 5 breaths. Pull your stomach in toward your spine. Try to straighten your legs, driving your heels toward the ground, letting your shoulder blades get away from your ears so you have a nice long neck. Good. You're going to bend your knees and your hips, stretching your arms out in front of you, letting your knees come down to the ground all the way. We're going to do a little bit of a stretch. You're going to reach your left hand to the outside of your mat. You're going to take your right hand and you're going to cross it over your left hand, letting your head sink between your arms. Stomach is pulling in toward your spine. You should feel a nice stretch on the right side of your body. Good. And then breathe out and reach to the other side of the mat, crossing your left hand over your right, head between your arms, stomach pulling in toward your spine. One more deep breath. Good. We're going to come back to the center of the mat. We go back up into a down dog. Pulling the stomach in toward the spine, straightening the legs, driving the heels down toward the ground. Feel free to walk your feet out a little bit if you need to get a little bit of an extra stretch. Good, we're going to sink down again. This time we're going to walk up to the top of the mat. Breathing in, putting the hands on your shins, looking forward. And then breathing out, stretching down again. Good, reaching up toward the ceiling, breathing in. Good, now we're going to come into a prayer pose. Dropping down and turning to the left. Try to have your knees touching and your feet together. We're going to take a few breaths here. I want you to feel like your left shoulder blade's pulling across your back. Your stomach should be pulling in toward your spine. Good. One more breath. Now we're going to reach back with the right leg into a lunge position. Good. Still breathing deeply, feeling that shoulder blade pulling across your back, that left shoulder blade. We're going to open up our arms. Good. Now we're going to unwind into a warrior two. Good. The left knee should be stacked over the left ankle. Arms at shoulder height. Looking straight ahead over your fingertips of your left hand. Good. Now we're going to reach our left arm over our head for reverse warrior. Right hand can rest on the right leg. Good. We're going to come back. We're going to straighten the left leg. We're going to reach forward and then tip, looking at our right hand. Good. Come back to warrior two. Good. Now we're going to step toward the front of the mat, reaching up overhead. Good. And then reaching down toward the mat, breathing out. Hands on the front of the shins, breathing in, looking forward, stomach pulling in toward the spine, and then breathing out. One more stretch. Good. We're going to breathe in and reach up. Bringing the hands down in front of the chest. We're going to drop back down into that prayer pose, and we're going to turn to the right. This time squeezing the right shoulder blade across the back, keeping the knees and feet together. One more breath. Now we're going to reach back with the left leg. Remember to pull your stomach in toward your spine. And then open the arms. Two more breaths. Good. Now we're going to breathe in. And move into warrior two. Remember to stack your right knee over your right ankle. Arms should be shoulder height. Gazing out over your fingertips, pulling your stomach in toward your spine. Two breaths. Good. Now reverse warrior. So reach your right arm over your head. Left hand rests on your left leg. Good. Now we're going to do reverse warrior, reverse triangle. Forgetting the names. Good. Reaching up toward your left hand, looking up toward your left hand. Good. And then come back into warrior. One more little stretch, and then step to the top of the mat, reaching up overhead, breathing in, and then reaching down with your feet. Hands on the shin. Breathing in, looking forward, and dropping the hands down to the mat. We're going to go back into a plank, lowering down, elbows next to your rib cage. We're going to extend into a cobra pose, driving your shoulders down, away from your ears, holding your knees off the ground. Good. We're going to kick back into the down dog. Try to go a little deeper into the stretch each time you do it. We're going to take 5 deep breaths. One more breath. Good. We're going to move back into high plank, and we're going to put our left foot next to our left hand. I really want you to feel a good deep stretch between your legs. Try to drive down through your hands, keeping your fingers spread. You want your foot on the outside of your left hand. You're going to take your left arm and you're going to reach toward the ceiling. You should feel a nice stretch through your right hip flexor. Good. We're going to put that left hand down, and we're going to reach our foot back. We're going to put our right foot up to our right, next to our right hand. You want to a little bit more of a stretch, you can lower that left knee toward the mat. Pulling your stomach in toward your spine. Now we're going to straighten that trail leg and we're going to reach our right arm up toward the ceiling. Deep breath in. Fully exhale, one more breath. Good, then bring the hand back down to the mat. And we're going to drop our knees down to the mat and we're going to reach back one more time. Stretch. This time we're going to come back into 4-point. We're going to take our right shoulder, we're going to put it on the ground, kind of thread the needle. So the right arm is going to go between the left arm and the body, resting your head and shoulder on the mat. I want you to take 3 or 4 deep breaths, working on improving rib cage mobility. Good. We're going to come back up, and we're going to reach through with the left arm. Good. Come back to 4-point. We're going to go back to our high plank. And we're going to do that all over again. So left foot up by the left hand. Good. Just sink into the stretch. Try to lower that knee down toward the ground to accentuate the stretch if you feel like you need it. A couple of deep breaths. Good. We're going to take that left arm, straightening the right leg and reaching toward the ceiling. Gazing at your hand. Good. Stretch through the neck. Nice. Bring that hand back down. Reaching the left foot back. Right foot toward the right hand on the outside of the right hand. Dropping that left knee down. Deepening the stretch. Reach up with the right arm. Straightening your trail leg. Looking up at your hand. Good. Bringing that right hand back down to the mat. Good job. Lowering down into that low plank. Standing up into cobra. Driving the shoulders away from the ears. Hovering your knees off the ground. Good. Move into a down dog. There we go. Leo, what are you doing? Good. We're going to walk back up to the top. And reaching up overhead. Perfect. Good. Bring the hands back down in front of the chest. We're going to work on a couple of balance poses. So I want you to take your right foot and place it. We've got a few options here. The easiest version is placing your toe on the ground with your heel against your lower leg like a kickstand. Hands in front of the chest. So that's version 1. Version 2 is to put the sole of your foot on your calf and balancing. Good. A little bit harder version is to drive that foot above the knee. We're going to hold this for a few breaths. Find a spot in the room you're in, focus on it. Good. We're going to bring that foot back down. We're going to breathe in. Bring your hands back down. Try to find the same place you found on the other side. You want to challenge yourself a little bit more. Now that you know what we're doing, you can try going a little higher. Good. If you want to challenge with your arms, you can reach up overhead. This is called tree pose. Remember to pull your stomach in toward your spine. Good. And bring your hands back to heart center. Left foot flat on the ground. Now, we're going to do a little bit of a hip opener here. I want you to take your right foot, grab it with both hands, and cross it in front of your left hip, and then let your right knee drop down toward the ground. So the sole of your foot is pointed up towards the ceiling. And then with your left hand, I just want you to wrap that left hand around your back and place it in the small of your right hand. place it in the small of your back. So left hand's on the foot, the right hand is wrapped around the small of your back. Take a few deep breaths. Feel your stomach being pulled in toward your spine. Root yourself down through the ground with your left foot. Feel that left glute engaged. Good. And we're going to lift that knee toward the ceiling. Unwrap your hand. Grab your knee with the right hand. Bring it up. And then lower your right foot back down to the ground. And do the same thing on the other legs. We're going to bring our left knee up. Grabbing the left knee with the left hand. Left foot with the right hand. We're going to roll that left knee toward the ground. Good. The sole of the left foot should be pointing toward the ceiling. Good. Left hand wraps around behind the back. Pulling the stomach in toward the spine, focusing on your breath. Good. Now take your left hand, grab your left knee. Carefully bring your left knee up. Gently squeeze into the body and put your left foot back down to the ground. Then reach up toward the ceiling. Breathing in, breathe out, down toward the ground. Good. Breathing in, hands on your shins looking forward. Good. Breathe out, plant your hands on the ground. We're going to lower back down through a low plank and up into cobra. Breathing in deeply. Good. Breathe out, back into down dog. Good. Breathing in, bending your knees and hips, and walking up toward the top of your mat. Good. We're going to breathe in, come all the way up. One more balance pose for today. We're going to reach our right knee forward, and then we're going to drive the right leg behind us, balancing on the left, reaching the arms overhead. Driving down through that left leg, pulling your stomach in toward your spine. Deep breath in. Exhale all the way. Good. We're going to bring ourselves back up, reaching overhead. Breathing in. Good. We're going to breathe out, bring our hands down to heart center, reaching the left leg up this time, and then extending it behind us, opening the arms up. Breathing in deeply. Breathing out. Good. Good. Then bringing that knee back up, reaching up overhead, and then putting the foot back down on the ground. Breathing up. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more stretch down. Good. Put our hands on our shins, looking forward, breathing in. Good. Breathe out, plant your hands on the ground, and lower down while you're breathing out. Good. Breathe in. And breathe out. We're going to go one more down dog. Looking between your legs. Good. Bend your knees, and then we're going to sit on our butt with our feet pointing straight ahead. We're going to do a hamstring stretch. So you're going to take the sole of your foot, put it on the inside of your thigh, which should reach toward your toes. If you can't reach your toes, grab your shin, and just hold yourself here. We're going to take 3 or 4 deep breaths. If you can grab your toes, if you can grab your foot, go for a little bit more distance, a deeper stretch. Good. Then release and switch. Breathe in, and then breathe out, reach forward. If you have any pain in your back, I want you to back off on the stretch, straighten your spine a little bit. Remember to pull your stomach in toward your spine to control your back. Good. I'm going to switch sides again, but this time we're going to take our foot and we're going to put myself at the camera. You're going to put your foot out to the side. So we're going to work on internally rotating that hip while we stretch our hamstrings. So you may not be able to go as far with this stretch. So for me, I can't really touch my toes very well. I'm just going to put my hands on my shin. I'm going to take a few deep breaths. If you have any pain in your right hip, So it would really be helpful to support your knee a little bit higher on a towel. Good. I'm going to do the other side. So foot goes to the outside. Breathe in, and then breathe out, reaching down toward your foot. I can't go quite as far on this side, so my left hip's a little bit tighter. Trying to keep my stomach pulled in. It's hard for me. Good. Now we're going to do a little bit of a rotational stretch. So we're going to bend our left knee. We're going to take our left arm. We're going to put our left arm on the other side of our right leg. And then we're going to plant our right hand right behind our right glute. The right arm should be straight. See my right arm here, it's nice and straight. Left arm is across the right leg. And you're going to turn and look behind you. Taking really deep breaths. Trying to stretch your rib cage. Good. And we're going to switch sides. So bending the left knee this time, reaching forward with the right arm, crossing over the left leg with the left knee. Left arm is straight next to your left glute. You're going to reach, look behind you, try to turn as far as you can. And it helps me if I really push with my right arm against my left leg. So I'm using my right arm as like a lever, pushing myself. So I'm really going for as much range of motion as I can. And breathing deeply will help you gain more range of motion as you go. So with each breath, you should be able to go a little bit further. Good. Nice. Now we're going to work on a little bit of abdominal strengthening. We're going to go into a boat pose. So for those of you that have a tough time with boat pose, I want you to keep your hands on the ground. For people that are used to this position, you can hold your arms up toward the ceiling. Toes should be flexed. The other thing I want you to think about is keep your stomach pulled in and keep your chest up. A lot of us kind of cave with this position, but I want you to think about your spine. So keep your spine nice and straight. Good, and then we're going to go down and put the soles of our feet on the mat, our palms on the ground with our toes pointed, fingers pointed towards our toes, and we're going to raise our hips up in what I call tabletop. Let your head fall back. Continue to pull your stomach in and really clench your glutes. Good, now we're going to lower down. This time we're going to do a modified boat pose where our feet are on the ground and we're going to lean back a little bit, maintaining that nice straight spine. We're going to hold our arms up. Good. Keep the chest high, stomach pulled in. The more you lean back, the harder the exercise is. But I don't want you to push yourself to the point where you can't maintain your form. So form is really important. Good, and then hands back on the ground. And we're going to do the same thing. Soles of the feet planted firmly, fingertips toward the toes. You're going to raise your glutes up, clenching your glutes, pulling your stomach in, letting your head fall back. Good, then lower down. The last two stretches we're going to do, we're going to do a hip flexor stretch and a piriformis stretch. So the hip flexor stretch has a few different versions. I want to take you through. The first one is side lying. So you're going to lay on your side and you're going to grab your ankle and pull your leg behind you. This is for those of you that have knee problems where you really don't want to be kneeling directly on your knee. The second version of the stretch will be kneeling, and you're going to put your right foot out in front of you. You're going to reach back and grab your left ankle or foot. You're going to lean on the thigh of your right leg. Keep your chest up. Good. Okay. And then the other stretch we're going to work on is for your piriformis muscle or hip external rotation. The first version of the stretch for people with hip problems will be laying on your back. You're going to cross your left ankle over your right knee, grabbing your right shin, and just trying to relax. Take some deep cleansing breaths. I like to use my left elbow against my left thigh, and I push a little bit, so I get a little bit of extra rotation, and then I squeeze my right knee towards my chest. Good. The second version of that is called pigeon pose, where you're going to be on your stomach. We're going to take the left leg, we're going to cross it in front of the right knee. I got a little buddy here. Then you're going to lay down on the ground. It's not easy. If you have a dog at home, this is a fun time to wrestle. Now I got you. Turn the table. What do you think? Half pigeon. Then you switch sides. So crossing the right ankle across the body in front of the left leg, and lower down. Yeah. Breathe deeply. You should feel a nice deep stretch in that right hip. Good. So, I hope you enjoyed the yoga for today. It was designed with golf in mind.